Hi guys, Steven here. So for right now, the title of my thesis paper is Cracked Spirits, an analysis of the profiles of Gino Auriemma and Dan Gable by the writer Wright Thompson. So the literary aspect of my piece is obviously analyzing those two long-form profiles of two very successful men in their athletic field. Pretty much, they're both senior citizens now too. They're both over 65 or 70. So that leads me into the first major theme of my paper, which would be time. Both men in the piece by Thompson, Thompson looks back with them at traumatic moments in their lives. Specifically for Gable, when his older teenage sister was murdered while him and his parents were away, and for Gino Auriemma in his piece, specifically being raised as a child by his mom, who they called like the alpha mom, and that she survived through Nazi Germany, and in both pieces, Thompson goes back in time with them to see what is still traumatizing them, to see what they kind of like hide, that kind of comes and cracks to the surface every now and then. So I'll dive more into that in the paper. Masculinity is the second major theme. For the Gino Auriemma aspect in his profile, he questions his masculinity because he is a women's basketball coach. And he often wonders if he'd be as successful in the NBA if he chose to go, or men's college basketball. And then with Dan Gable, masculinity is in the Dan Gable piece very big as well, because he's a very like tough Iowa man who literally beats the shit out of himself whenever he works out. He does not allow himself to eat a meal without working out. And when he was a wrestler, he would work out for 7 hours a day for 7 weeks. But for the masculinity part of both those men, they are both very unfulfilled in the pieces. But they question themselves, even though they're very, very, very hard on themselves. So I'll be diving deep into that aspect of both pieces. And lastly, the border part of my analysis will be about how there's no border between Dan Gable and his work life and his family life. His daughters and his wife put on the trauma that he puts on himself. But with Gino Auriemma in that profile, there is a strict border. He doesn't bring it home, and he is a very classic American style family that supports him. So that's my elevator pitch. Hopefully I didn't go too much over 3 minutes, Dr. Tequel. And I hope everybody's staying safe during this pandemic. Yeah.